How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping yet another video. Right, guys, story now from Hull Live, link in the description below. It's about restorative justice. Restorative justice being like mediation between offenders and their victims. Personally, I don't think it works in any regard. I think the idea is to open the offender's eyes to the effect their criminality has had on the victim and the impact on them, and to like so you grow a conscience and that sort of stuff. But with most people, most offenders, they're already being desensitized in prison. They become dehumanized. So I don't think it works. But apparently it's been seen as a positive in HMP Hull. So let's get into it. So Hull prisoners speak out on how meeting their victims has turned their lives around. It is making inmates at HMP Hull realise the true impact their crimes are having on their victims. Prisoners locked up in HMP Hull are being encouraged to talk to their victims and stay away from crime as part of an initiative restorative justice programme. Offenders in the Hebden Road jail have been given the chance to work with restorative justice practitioners from Remedi and take full responsibility for the harm caused as a direct result of their criminal behaviour. Working in groups, the scheme provides closure for victims and in some cases offenders, with Remedi aiming to reduce reoffending when prisoners are released back into the community. Ben Payne, who is the Humberside and North Yorkshire manager for Remedi, said prisoners who have taken part have reacted really positively. Well, they're going to say that, aren't they? Because it's financially, it's doing them a great justice financially, isn't it? Not going to say it doesn't work because then they could lose the contract. But apparently prisoners are reacted really positively to the programme, which is starting to make them understand the errors of their ways. He said, although sometimes apprehensive about restorative justice at first, the group Restorative Choices programme helps them understand the process as a mutually beneficial for both victim and offender. By hearing from real people who have participated, they are able to better grasp why a victim may wish to meet their offender and what both parties can take away from the process. The impact it is having on prisoners. One offender at HMP Hull who participated in the programme said, "This cause has made me think about the massive impact crime has had on the lives of victims. My awareness of this will definitely make me think before I act, reducing the likelihood of ever committing crime again." Another inmate who was inspired to communicate with his victims said, "Completing the Restorative Choices programme with Remedi has really taught me how my actions can impact people. I really want to make things better for my victims now." With regards to tackling some prisoners' volatile behaviour as part of the Remedi Changing Thinking Ending Violence programme, or the CTEV, Mr Payne also reported a positive response. One prisoner said, "CTEV made me think and feel positive about changing my behaviour. Talking about some of the incidents I've been involved in has helped me to realise I am mostly to blame and the violence is not the way to solve things. It's useful to see the knock-on effects of my actions. I think prison violence can be reduced if I consider the consequences before my actions." A positive reaction. The concept of restorative justice enables victims and offenders to talk about the harm and impact caused by crimes that they were involved in. It has recently been highlighted locally after Amelia revealed how the process helped her after she was raped as a 16-year-old girl at a party, and nationally through rugby player Gareth Thomas's ordeal. I'm sorry, but sitting down with a person that raped you because she was raped 16 at a party, and God bless that. God, I wouldn't put my worst enemy through that, so my thoughts go out to this girl Amelia. But sitting down and having restorative justice with a person that raped her, I'm sorry that I don't just think that for 1 second. Sex offenders can't be rehabilitated, and I stick to that. The Welshman was the victim of a homophobic attack but received an apology from the teenager who attacked him. Remedi are currently carrying out the scheme in 5 prisons, and Mr Payne said it has a big impact at HMP Hull. He's going to say he's going to have a big impact at HMP Hull because he's trying to get it into every prison because it's big money for his company. He said the prison and its other partners have responded positively to all the work that's been carried out via Remedi, allocating a strategic lead within reducing reoffending, as well as restorative justice within the drug and alcohol recovery team, and placing the practitioner full-time in the safer custody / violence reduction function. This Remedi is sorting everything out here, aren't they? They're reducing reoffending. People are stopping, not doing drugs and alcohol, and they're just clueless, guys. They've got to say good things about their initiative because they're trying to push the initiative further to get it in every prisons. Because from 5 prisons to 100, and I think there's about 120 prisons in the country and young offenders institutes and stuff. They've got to say it's working, haven't they? This has allowed Remedi to work collaboratively with relevant departments in order to support the establishment to build a culture of rehabilitation that aims to prevent victims by changing lives. As a result, the practitioner is receiving referrals from both operational and non-operational staff around the establishment, including offender management, prison officers, key workers, family engagement, DART and equalities. Victims are getting closure. Mr. Payne said victims are benefiting from the restorative justice process by getting the closure that they need. He said the programme aims to reduce reoffending, and this ultimately reduces the number of victims in the future. Victims also benefit from this project when they participate in restorative justices with someone who has been through the Restorative Choices programme. The aim of the Restorative Justice programme is to increase awareness of the impact of the offence. As a result, the victims are more likely to have conversation with a remorseful offender. If a victim requests contact with their offender and they are in one of the prisons we work in, we can suggest that they go through the RCP, as that helps prepare them for contact with the victim in their case. Now, guys, you've got to look at why these offenders, some of these offenders might be opening their eyes to the criminality, the effect it's having on their victims, or they could be serving a lengthy sentence in prison, and they could be coming up for parole. If they're warranted, they've got to go before the parole board, and this is about ticking a box. This Remedi course, they're going to say the courses work and it's great and it's been very widely received and it's working leaps and bounds. It's going to reduce victims in the future. It's going to reduce reoffending. They're going to say that, aren't they? Because the truth is they're trying to push it into every prison, and by pushing it into every prison, they're earning more money. So it's a financial incentive, guys. Don't buy into it at all. Personally, that's me. Will these people that are saying these things go on to reoffend? Who knows? The likelihood is they will, but who knows? The idea is, like I said at the start, is to open your eyes to the effect your criminality has had on your victim. But we're dehumanised and we're desensitised, and prison only makes it worse, and it makes you even more disenfranchised than when you enter the system. So I'm going to leave you with that thought, guys. Let me know what you think. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.